My name is Eileen Keeney, ní Gildea Crumlin. I was born in Crumlin in 1949 and I've lived in the first house in Crumlin. Growing up in the 50s, 60s and 70s, there was no real change in Crumlin since. I come from a wonderful family of 7. Patsy, Josie, Brendan, Conladen, Anne and Mary Clare. That time there were only 5 houses in Crumlin. Gildea's, Shovels and Sweeney's, Gallers and Heenas. Crumlin overlooks the top of Loughros Bay Estuary and its most famous place is the Carry Hole. Crumlin is beautiful in the summer and can be really rough in the winter. There are now 21 houses in Crumlin with an ever-increasing population.
Patsy Gildea here from Drummaha. I've lived here all my life. Drummaha borders the following townlands: Dunbarn, Ethical and Kinockley. Some of the houses in Drummaha look out over Loughros Bay, where the Dead Man's Island is located. St John's Pier is located in Drummaha, and the Loughros Point road club use the pier in the summertime, which is nice to see. On a summer's day, there is nowhere else as nice as Drummaha, a short distance from the town of Ardra. Thank you.
Hilltown is the townland in which we live in Loughros Point. Within this area, there are several different place names relating to historic events. We couldn't choose them all, so the one that we chose to discuss today is called Campbell's Quay. So Campbell's Quay was a small stone-built pier used by Patrick Campbell to bring his turf from Ranny to Hilltown here. It was just a small pier that still exists to today. It would have been very convenient at the time to bring the turf, as it was less time consuming than going by road.
Hello, this is Ballygany now. This was where my father was reared. There were 2 families here, 2 Geller families. One was of course my father's, and the house down below was the home house. And there were 12 in my father's family, and there were 8 or 9 in the other family. So they were all emigrated to Scotland, America. But there's nobody here now at the moment, only my son Paul and daughter Theresa. And that's Lana, I bought one of the Goller family. And there's another house now here as well, Paul McHugh's, that's Nancy's up the town, son. House down below, it belonged to a bro man from Northern Ireland, and he bought the home house, but it's extended, 2-story now, and it's the smallest townland in the parish.
Kilcashel gets its name from the Irish kill, which means church, and the Irish cashel, which means ringfort. There is no ruins of the church today, with the last known mention being in Thomas Colvin McGinley's Scenic Cliffs of Southwest Donegal in 1867. However, the graveyard is still here and very much still being used to this day. Cashel that Kilcashel gets its name from is still here and still very visible to this day, although there is some trees growing within the walls. Kilcashel also has 2 crosses. One is situated below the ringfort and is a big square stone that is about 11.5 inches in height and 8.5 inches in width. The other cross is known as St Conal's Cross and is located on a hill above the graveyard. The cross is about 2 metres tall, with a ring cross inscribed on the south face of it.
Kinockley. Kinockley stands for bare head in Irish. The original road at Kinockley started at the Church of Ireland Rectory and was called the Shore Road. The road was on the shore side of all the original houses. Remains of the old road can still be seen. When I came to Kinockley in 1955, there were 7 families in Kinockley. Campbell's, which is now the Whites. Dunleavy's, which is now owned by John Thomas Morrow. Waters House. John and Sarah Boyles, now the Kennedys. Shovelins, still owned by the Shovelins. Cannons, which is now Eamon Boyles. The Adaires, which is still owned by the Adaires. The only landmark left is the standing stone in Eamon Boyle's field, which is like a headstone.
My name is Joseph Levi. I was born and raised and reared in Shannon. Shannon is a townland that's called Upper Shannon and Lower Shannon. And there's no saying that there's as much gold between the two as would buy the townland. I never found it. Shannon's like any other townland. It has all different names. There's a holy well beside the lake, the storehouse, the Lady's Rock, all the different names, the same as any other townland. And I just want to live my life where I was born and raised, and I just like where it is.
Hello, my name is Peter Shovlin, originally from Liskerrin, Ardra. There's a spot in Liskerrin. It's next door to our farm, on a farm next door. If you know where there's a river, a little creek runs down there where we used to let the cows out for a drink during the day. It's right next, in that area there on the farm next door. My father found this accidentally. It's a nice flat stone with a shape of a cross cut into it and some other little relics there beside it. But the story goes, or the thinking is, that that's where Mass was said during the penal days when churches and schools were closed during the British rule.
Hello, my name is John White and I live in Clubway. I went to school in Crannies Boys School. When we were young, there wasn't much work going. The only thing you had was fishing. And we started fishing when I was 14. And I was along with Barney Carroll and wee Hughie Colony and Derek Collin and Paddy, as we call Paddy Nurse, and myself. The biggest shot we had that year was 14. And Barney Carroll or Hughie Colony wasn't out because I was under and they were afraid. So we got another fella and we went out and we were 14. It was a good shot, wild excitement out here. And we got a good bit of money for him at the time and forget what it was.
Stonebrook was originally, Crannies originally went as far as Landers House, and Stonebrook was the walkers or the planters gave their portion the name of Stonebrook. That's how the Stonebrook came about.
Father John Dolty McGarvey was an ascetic, a miser, a beloved priest, a horseman, a wealthy farmer and a wholly constitutional political activist. Born in the Roscoe Peninsula, he served as parish priest in Ardra from 1833 until 1867. A man of considerable influence who kept order in Ardra, his house in Loughill was built gratis by a grateful landlord. He heard confessions at his home or in the open fields at harvest time, and the expectation was that anyone attending would help with farm work. He built Kilcrooney Chapel and Ardra Catholic Church at the West End. This was the predecessor of the Church of the Holy Family. The Catholic school in Crannies was one of many built during his time as parish priest. Father McGarvey almost succumbed to fever on 2 occasions, but survived and assisted the people as much as he could during the famine, together with his curates and clergy of other denominations. A huge effort was conducted by the Catholic Church to eradicate illegal political activism during his time, and in 1867 he could state that Fenianism was dead in Ardra. He passed away at the age of 90 and left an estate worth more than €2 million today. Most of it was left to the Bishop of Raphoe, and the will was upheld in the 4 courts. Jimmy O'Donnell's grandfather was left the farm he'd worked for Father McGarvey in Loughill. The bulk of the estate went towards the building of St Eunan's Cathedral and St Columba's Marine Industrial School in Killybegs. Whatever his faults and miserly ways, he was a larger-than-life character, and he's remembered with fondness in local folklore.
I only remember one house we lived in. That was Bella, Alcorn, and Richard, the brother, them two. Bella was married twice. She was married back in Andy Hamilton. Mm-hmm. That was Hamilton's actually that house. She was married to him, and he died. He only lived a lot of years, maybe 5 or 6 years. Then she remarried Robert Lammer. Then he died also. When did he die? 1934 he died. So then I do remember Bella and Richard. Richard then stayed, but he went back down to Carrickfergus, his home place. May, wasn't it, sometime? She died when? 1960 she died. Yeah, right. I think he stayed well long after that. Yeah. That was the end of it. That, I remember them. But back, we're not saying many years now.
Congratulations on your new book. We have been learning about our local place names.
We've been learning about Loughros Point too.
Our school was named after the Crannog.
The old Crannog is beside my house in Kilcashel.
W stands for the Yellow Rock.
There will come a soldier who carries a mighty sword. He will tear your city down,
The townland of Lacaduff, or Lacadou as is known in Irish, is located at the very bottom of Loughros Point. One of the more famous names in the townland is known as the Minister's Rock. This is where the late Louis Algio drowned in 1903. Louis Algio was the Church of Ireland minister in Ardra. It was here that he and his son and coach driver were fishing one day in 1903, and a large wave swept both he and his son off the rock. Fortunately, his son was saved, but Louis Algio drowned, and it wasn't until a few weeks later that his body was uncovered in Rossbeg.
It was a privilege to have been born in the 1950s, one of 11 children brought up in Newtown Burke, a most beautiful area with a great community spirit that still exists. As one of the McNeilis family brought up in the post office, which originally opened in the mid-1870s, ran first by my grandfather James McNeilis and later by my mother Mary McNeilis until it closed in 1998. The post office was open 24/7, dealing with pensions, dole, mail and public telephone usage. It also sold cigarettes during the salmon season to the local fishermen. People going to the post office and using the telephone had to enter our living area. Hence, at a very young age, we learned how to interact with and respect people. This was also a place where men came to play cards at night. Behind our house was the ruins of Bands, our grandfather's brother, Johnny McNeilis, who made coffins. Next door to Bands was Bella Breslin, or Bella Vale. Bella was the local midwife in Loughros Point. She delivered many of my and my father's generation.
The townland of Drummitten, or Drumurrin as it is officially known, comes from the Irish Drumurrin, meaning the ridge of the long coarse grass. It is located at the bottom of Loughros Point. One of the more famous names is known very widely as the Townlands, or Traban as it's known in Irish. The Townlands is an immense collection of rounded stones which shelters the adjacent land from the sea.